you're going to, if you're going to cross that bridge, if you're going to add the income opportunity to your repertoire, to your menu, if you're going to add it to your toolbox, you're going to have to learn about the opportunity and how to talk about it to gain confidence. So competency comes first, then confidence. When you have competency and confidence, then it's easy. No problem, right? So what would cause you to study the income opportunity such that you could become confident and competent? Well, what would cause you to do it is being motivated for an outcome. And Jillian, you talked about asset income. Maybe you want me to talk about that later, but I'll just touch on it here. The number one thing that network marketing offers is asset income. Residual income, legacy income, kind of all the same thing. I use the word asset because if you build it right in the right company with the right products, your distributorship, your member number, including your rank in the compensation plan, is an asset because the income will continue to flow to you regardless of what you do within certain parameters, right? You can't quit and join something else. You can't compete with your organization. You can't be negative. You can't, right? You have to be a caretaker of your asset. It would be like if you owned a rental home, you know, you wouldn't neglect it. You would maintain it. You would check on it. You would nurture your tenants, right? But you don't have to continue to buy more rental homes to have one asset that produces an income. And that's the opportunity here. So most people see the opportunity in network marketing to make some money, $500 or $1,000 a month. I don't think that's the opportunity at all. I mean, if you want to make $500 a month, well, you're all in Canada, I don't know, go to work at Tim Hortons, right? Right? You can just like put on a smock or something and show up at Tim Hortons and say, can I get you some more coffee? Can I get you some more coffee? Would you like another donut? Would you like some sugar on your donut? You know, like do that for a couple hours a day. You don't have to talk to your friends and relatives about Tim Hortons. You know, 10 hours a week, I don't know, 20 bucks an hour, I don't know, somehow you probably at the end of the month might make $500. You don't have to get on social media, you don't have to do anything, right? It's just a check-in, do whatever the mindless job is, check out, get the money. So my assertion is that people actually aren't that motivated for an extra $500 a month, or they'd be doing something to earn it. But here's what will motivate people. You show somebody how to build something, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, that they get paid on for the rest of their life. And that's a concept that intrigues people because people like the security of an annuity, a payment. You know, that's why people play the lottery, right? They're hoping to do something once and get paid forever. And network marketing is not a lottery, and it's not anything like that, but it is something that you can do that is naturally flowing with something you do anyway. If you love these products, you are going to talk to people about them. And if you did something just as simple as this, every time you share your favorite Young Living product, or you educate a customer, or you talk to somebody about what Young Living products do, if you just said this at the end of your product conversation, you would build eventually a network marketing income, a residual asset income. If you just said something like, Jillian, when you discover for yourself, when you get all these toxic chemicals out of your home, and you get thieves everywhere in your home, when you discover for yourself the peace of mind, the safety, the natural fragrance, the clean in your home, when you feel that yourself, I show you how to make an extra $1,000 a month that you can get paid the rest of your life. Now we can talk about that later, because until you fall in love with the products, you can't touch that income. But you fall in love, I'll show you the income. And just let it go at that. That'll build you an income. So, what is asset income and how do you create it? There's other ways to do it, right? If you wrote a book that became a bestseller, the book and your rights to the book would be an asset. If you wrote a song and the song became a hit and you got royalties, that would be an asset. If you wrote a screenplay to a movie, that would be an asset. Similar things like that. Art is an asset if it's successfully in commerce. Network marketing is an asset this way. So just think about the exponential growth of the, a lot of people call it a pyramid, but it's actually diamond shaped. Your team is diamond shaped. Starts off small at the top. The widest part is about your 5th or 6th generation. And then your 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th generation taper off again. They're not as wide, there's not as many people. And that diamond can move, the widest generation can move, but that's what you're building here. So if you'll just follow along with me in the numbers. So here I am, I'm sharing the product, I'm having classes, I have customers, I use the product. Maybe I make, I don't know, $200 or $300 or $400 a month from my customers. That's linear income. I could do that working at Tim Hortons. The advantage is, as long as those customers keep buying every month, I make $200 or $300 or $400 a month, whether I show up to Tim Hortons or not, right? So now I have the beginnings of asset income, but where asset income really starts to take place is in the exponential growth of my customer base and my sales team. So let's say I have 20 customers, and out of those 20 customers, I get 4 of them to lock into that vision of, what'd you say about that $1,000 a month? What do you mean by the rest of my life? And I'll explain to them what I mean by the rest of their life and their children's lives, legacy income. So let's say I get 4 of them to do what I've done. And so it's all hypothetical. An organization never grows the way it's laid out in the 4-year career. But when each of those 4 get 4, now I have 16 people and all of their customers that are on my 2nd generation. And let's say that takes a year and a half or 2 years. And then if you just sort of fan the fire and blow on it through leadership, the 3rd year, maybe those 16 each get 4 for 64, and all of those 64 customers. And the 4th year, 256. So you see, now in the 200, what we don't show in the 4-year careers, we don't show the bottom of the diamond. So 256, we might show it as 1,024, but it's actually more like 256, 16, 4, right? Because the 256, not all of them have got their people yet. But when you get a sales team like that, what you want to visualize is you're on top, you're just one person, you have 50 or 100 or 200 or 500 people and all of their customers. And they're all buying the products. And the reason we have asset income in Young Living is we have 25 years of proof that these are bulletproof products in the marketplace that people will fall in love with and buy forever. How do we know that? 40% of the people that have ever joined, bought a kit, are on Essential Rewards. Repeat customers. You don't have asset income unless you have repeat customers. But when you have a sales team like this, there's 2 things you want to think about in the sales team. One is, you're just one person. You got 2 or 3 or 4 or 500 people that are earning you income. It's like you own a Tim Hortons, but you also own 100 other Tim Hortons. And you get 5 or 6 or 7% off all the business of those other Tim Hortons. So what you do every month doesn't matter. That's the first step in asset income, is that your daily activity, how many customers you get every month, how many people, how many classes you do, or presentations, or what you do doesn't matter, because there's so many other people that are creating your income. The second aspect of asset income is you have to have a product that people are buying month in and month out, and you have a track record of that happening for a long time. So 25 years in the past projects 25 years in the future. And the third and most interesting part of asset income is just think about it. What are the odds if you have, let's say everybody in this room is on your team. Look around the room. Turn around and look around the room. Just imagine that everybody in the room is on your team. What are the odds that some of the people in the room, now listen to my checklist, have more confidence than you, have more contacts than you, they have more charisma than you, they're more motivated and ambitious than you, they have more time than you, they're going to build a bigger team than you? What are the odds?
Pretty good.
They're like 100%, right? I mean, the only person who could look at this room, probably, and say, well, I might be the top dog in the room, is Jolene, right? Because you're all on her team. So what you all want to do is you want to build a team, because some of the people on your team, and I can promise you, Jolene may not like hearing this, but I can promise you over the next 10 years, Jolene, there's going to be people in this room or other rooms that are on your team now that are going to outproduce you.
I think they already are, Richard.
They're going to have more ambition. They're going to build a bigger team. But guess what? They're all on your team. So you all just knock yourself out, break all the records, build a much bigger team than me. You're on my team. And that's the biggest magical part of asset income. And when you have an asset that produces income every month, regardless of what you do, that asset is worth at least 200 times the monthly income. So if you're making $5,000 a month in Young Living, you're I guess that would make you like a gold, right? And you know, let's say you automatically qualify every month as a gold. You qualified every month for a year. Your ER percentage is rock solid. Your income, no matter what you do, you're making $5,000 a month. You own something in Young Living that's worth $1 million. You'd have to own $1 million worth of real estate to net that same kind of income. And that real estate does not have the potential of exponentially growing because people on your team want to build a bigger empire than you did.
Amazing.
That's what I have to say about asset income.
Thank you, Richard. That's awesome. Okay, so we only have a couple minutes left, Richard, but I would love for you to tell us, because you've obviously been in this industry for a long time. You probably know there's thousands of companies to choose from. What is it that not only did you like about Young Living, but what is it that made you decide that now you and Kimmy wanted to be a part of the actual Young Living family and come over and build your own business within Young Living? Would you just tell us what that was all about?
Well, that kind of snuck up on us. I have a long story about that, which I won't tell today, but you know, even though I own my own network marketing company and Kimmy was the #1 distributor in that company, I also have for decades have done retreats and like Bliss Life workshops and coached people on occasion. And you know, Brenda Schuler was one of the first people that ever came to my retreat in Young Living a long time ago, like 10 years ago. And Adam came to a retreat, Adam Green, and then he brought some people, and then what Kimmy and I just noticed at our retreats was it seemed like about half the people at the retreats were in Young Living. And then we noticed this interesting thing about them is we would ask them, well, how long you been in? And the story was always like 7 years, but I didn't start building until a year and a half ago. Well, you know, what's your rank? And they would say ranks. We didn't really know what they meant, but I would, so how much money you making? And these, you know, almost always gals, and, you know, they would almost always have like 3 or 4 or 5 or 19 kids. And I would say, well, you know, you've been doing this a year and a half, and you're making, and they would say, well, you know, I'm making like $5,000 a month, or $7,500 a month, or, you know, I had one gal, I think I actually interviewed her on a hero call. You know, her 5th year in the business, she made, I can't even say it was so much money. And anyway, so there was kind of this mystery about, wow. And then we would ask these Young Living leaders, well, how did you do that? And they didn't know. Well, they would say silly things like, I've just been sharing about the products. Oh, really? And you make $7,500 a month? So you must have about, you know, 1,000 people on your team. You know how many people you have on your team? No. Anyway, so they, you know, all of this was just happening from sharing the products. And so long story short, I, you know, finally got intrigued enough. So I got in Adam's back office, and we're digging around and we're looking at numbers and metrics, because I like to, so it doesn't fly with me that you make 10 grand a month, but you don't know how you did it. I want to know how you did it. And if you don't know how you did it, then I don't know, I might figure out, well, how could you do it? And then maybe you could even make more. So, but anyway, so I'm digging around at Adam's back office, and we find this number, and he tells me I exaggerate the number, and I probably do, but as I recall, it was 46. And so I asked him, I said, how do you calculate that number? And he said, well, that's everybody that's ever joined my team that's on ER at $100 a month or more. And I couldn't believe it. At that time, I think I'd been in network marketing 40 years full time. I've never seen a number like that. My own personal number in my company was 8 to 10%. And a company like Amway, New Skin, Herbalife, Forever Living Products, you know, companies that are doing, you know, $2 to $10 billion a year, their retention rate is single digits. So they put 100 people on the products, they keep 2 or 1 or 3. And yet 30, 40, 50 years later, they're multi-billion-dollar companies. I saw 40%, and I'm telling you, that just rocked my world, and rocked Timmy's too. Because we know what you can build if you have 40% retention. What that means is your products are beyond good, they're beyond effective, they're beyond priced right, they're magical, they're transformational. They change people's lives, and I don't mean therapeutically, but of course there's all those kind of stories, but they just change people's lives. And so, I mean, that was actually the biggest part of it. Was you would all see it as, oh, our products are so amazing. That's not me, that products are so amazing. What's amazing is the 46%, which I think company-wide is about 40%. That 40% retention, that's amazing. So people ask me, what's my favorite product? I have a graphic with it's an oil with, and I changed the label to 40. That's my favorite oil, is the 40% retention. Because with that, ladies and gentlemen, Young Living itself can just on autopilot become the #1 network marketing company in the world. But more importantly, that's the only way you're going to get oils in every home. That's the only way Young Living is going to have an impact on the families around the world that want to infuse natural health care into their families and their lifestyle is you've got to be able to, if you recruit 100 people, you've got to keep 40 of them. Because if you keep 40 of them, then next month you can recruit 140 people, and then next month 200 people. If you can't get that geometric growth, you can't change the world. Nor can you build an asset income of $1,000 a month. So it's the little accomplishment, and then it's the global vision accomplishment. You have to have retention, and Young Living has unprecedented. I don't know of another company that's even close to 40%. It's unprecedented, and it doesn't matter if there's another company, because I don't care about other companies. So, it doesn't matter. All that matters is Young Living has that retention, and then the next piece of it was, could we own the culture, the people? And that was so easy for us, because Young Living are our people. This is not a materialistic money grab. This isn't a bunch of people pursuing 7 figures and mansions and Ferraris. These are people that, yes, some of them make more money than they know what to do with. But the thing is, the people in Young Living will figure out what to do with it, and the doing with it is going to be helping people and changing lives and contributing to society, helping the less fortunate. And this is just a beautiful community of heartfelt, loving, giving, sincere, honest people that just happen to be sitting on the most amazing income, product distribution, oils in every home model anywhere. And so we just decided, look, we could still own our own company and we could plod along. We were doing fine, but we weren't being good stewards of our sales organization, knowing there was a place we could bring them where they could have 10 times the success. And so that's how we ended up here.
That's amazing. Thank you. Was that not the most encouraging, exciting confirmation that you're in the right place here, guys? So awesome. Thank you, Richard. Okay, so we are pretty much out of time, but I hear you have an announcement I'm supposed to ask you about.
I'm not very good at announcements. Well, one of the things that has been working well up there in Canada, and it's because of the people in the room there, is these 2-day Bliss Life workshops, which we had one about 2 years ago in Kelowna, and then we had one this past fall in Nanaimo. How do you pronounce that place?
Nanaimo.
That place. We had one. And now we're going to have one in Calgary. Yeah. Well, thanks to you. So I'm just tagging along. I didn't create this. This isn't we're going to do this in Calgary. You all decided we're going to do this in Calgary, and I'm going to show up. And I think it is April 18th and 19th.
Yeah. Getting nods, yep.
Yeah, so thank you, all of you leaders that are graduates and alumni of a Bliss Life Transformational Weekend. Those of you that have not been, I would mark the calendar and come and change your marriage. It'll, for good, it'll improve it. It'll improve the relationships you have with your family, your kids, your siblings, your parents, dramatically improve it. It'll probably improve your health, even though we don't talk about health, and most importantly, it will unleash the power within you to do extraordinary things. And it's as simple as this. If you have an ambition, if you have a dream, if you have a thought, gosh, I would love to be able to, then I believe, and I'll bet you believe, that you have it in you to pull that off. And if you didn't have it in you, I don't think our Creator would make a mockery of our dreams and ambitions by allowing us to dream something and then snatching it out of our hands by not giving us the ability to create it. That would be mockery. And I don't think that's the way it's set up. And so what we do in these 2 days is we explore, what are your God-given talents? And how can you bring them to bear on your dreams? And how perhaps have you been sitting on your hands? And when you experience that conversation and you discover for yourself where you're sitting on your hands, and you discover for yourself where your talents and abilities and strengths are, then our experience is you choose to play differently. And when you play differently, you get much different results. So I invite you to join us April 18th and 19th in Calgary, somewhere. We don't know where.
Awesome. Okay, well, thank you so much, Richard. Give me a round of applause, everyone.